Hi, good evening. I guess I should say good morning because this is the Saturday morning devotional, but Lori and I are recording this from the garage on Friday night. Yeah,
Good evening.
good evening. Thank you, church family, for all your prayers. For those of you that don't know, our son Austin, who has attended church there on and off, passed away yesterday morning at 4 a.m. With a long battle with cryptococcal meningitis. I thank you guys for your prayers and just being there for us.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you today just about the responsibility of a parent. I started this devotional earlier in the week, not knowing what the week was going to bring, and things kind of changed yesterday for us. As a parent, we have a responsibility to our children to talk to them about the Lord and have them understand that the Lord is the way and He's the life. I'd like to read to you from Matthew 7:13 and 14. That's Matthew 7:13 through 14. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only few find it. Now, a few years ago, I would tell you that Austin was not a believer, and Lori and I had been talking to him for a long time, about Jesus. He just was not a believer. Slowly but surely, he started understanding. I took him to a men's retreat. We spent some time together up there. After the men's retreat, I asked him what he thought. He didn't say anything to me at that time. He said he was still processing. A few days later, he sent me a text, which I still have, and he told me that he did understand and that he wanted to learn more. Well, as a result, he did accept Jesus as his Lord and Savior. He was baptized about a year ago. Unfortunately, it wasn't with Christian Life Assembly. He had moved to Bakersfield, so he was attending a church up there, and that's where he got baptized. And we're glad that he did. We're glad that we were able to help lead him there. So our responsibility as a parent is to teach our kids about Jesus. Our oldest son is 50, and or he will be 50 this year. And we've talked to him several times. He's very against it. A couple years ago, 3 years ago, he actually started going to church with his daughter. And one of his daughters, pretty soon the whole family was going to church. And so he's a believer now also. You guys all know Wes and Jared, and they're both believers. So our responsibility is to teach the kids. And for Lori and I, with Austin passing, even though we have a hole in our hearts and we suffer in this human flesh, in our agony and our pain, our spiritual side is rejoicing that Austin did find the Lord. And the Lord knew when he was ready and took him. So as parents, we go through life and we raise our kids, and we get to make mistakes with our kids while they're here with us on this earth. And we get to correct those mistakes. The one mistake that you can't make is that allowing your kids to go before you do without giving them the Word and sharing the Word with them and seeing them accept Jesus Christ. Even if you share with them now and you go first, knowing that you did your job. God gives us these children, their precious gift, and it's our job and our responsibility to train them up in the ways of the Lord and return them to Him, to His family and to His kingdom. And with that, if you've got a child out there, son or daughter, that you haven't spoken to for a while, or there's hard words between you, or it's a difficult relationship, even if it's a grandfather or grandmother or a mom or dad, today is the perfect day to make that phone call, because tomorrow you might not get to make that phone call. Just call them and say, hey, I was thinking about you today, and see where it takes you. It's a tough conversation to go through or to have, but it's one that's really necessary. And Lori would like to read to you from Isaiah 41, verse 13. That's Isaiah 41, verse 13. And this is kind of our prayer for all of you guys.
For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. And as we all know, God is always there to help us. All we have to do is ask. God bless you all.
God bless you. Looking forward to seeing you next week in the parking lot.